Week 3 of the 10th season of the GBA is finally upon us, and Playmore is taking on the Borussia Donphan. This is a battle that I've had circled on the schedule, as I've actually faced the Borussia Donphan myself back in my GBA years. I love Lars. I love Frank Trode. It's cool to see the coach and staff over there, but it's not cool to see the team we're facing, Tyler. This might be the most intimidating team we have faced yet.
I would love to just be excited about the fact that we're getting Roaring Moon versus Salamence. Really cool story. But there's a lot more to this team beyond just the Salamence, John, and there are a lot of really strong Pokemon that we particularly don't match up too well with on the other side of this battle.
No, not only have I played against this team in the GBA in the past, but I've played against Cresselia many times. It's probably my least favorite Pokemon to go against in Draft League. Pawmot is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in Draft League, but we don't know what we're talking about as much as the coach that will hopefully lead us to another victory today. The Beneral, what are you bringing this week?
98, 99, 100. Oh, what's good? You want to check the winning team this week? I got you. For Playmore Esports, we're leading off with Glamora in Week 3. This is going to be the only lead Glamora you'll ever see without hazards, as it's rocking Focus Sash with Corrosion, Toxic, Sludge Wave, Power Gem, and Earth Power. This is just meant to be very annoying early on, as it does very good offensively versus their team, but can't really take too much hits in return, and a Toxic on Iron Treads would be amazing, as well as Cresselia. Next up, we have our Sunsetter and Torkoal. Really just there for that good support for Roaring Moon. Once again, as always, rocking Lava Plume, Earth Power, Rapid Spin, and Yawn. Yawn was a very last-second addition. Originally, I had Stealth Rocks, which is on paper good against this team. He's likely to be heavy-duty boots on a lot of Pokemon, and that's just kind of annoying. Yawn stops all of his offensive momentum and really benefits me. Next, we have Kaido, or Roaring Moon, to abuse the Sun. We have Dragon Dance, Terra Blast with Terra Fire, Earthquake, and Roost. And we're holding the Lumberry to avoid burns from either Will-O-Wisp on Volcanion or the secondary effect of Steam Eruption. Either is beneficial because of our special defense, we're able to stay in there a little bit longer versus Volcanion before we Terra, obviously. Terra Blast Fire plus Earthquake is very good coverage for his team outside of like Salamence and a hard Terra Water Volcanion. Next is Sandaconda, rocking Glare to just spam Paralysis across his team. Very good just doing that alone. Earthquake, Rock Tomb, and Rest. Rock Tomb lets me 1v1 Salamence with Glare plus Rock Tomb. If he's setting up D-Dances, I always outspeed. Even if he Terra Steals, I Earthquake then. So that's beautiful there. And in general, it's meant to help me versus Iron Treads and potentially Pawmot. Next, we have Asuian Samurott, my favorite Pokemon on the team, rocking Assault Vest once again. This is just to help us versus the Volcanion and to potentially catch like the Enamorus or something like that off guard. Ceaseless Edge, Razor Shell, Knockoff, and Aqua Jet, just running our stabs this week, really effective to get up spikes, maybe knock off some of those boots like I mentioned, or anything that might help them in the setup process. Razor Shell plus Aqua Jet just ensures me to KO the kill on Enamorus if he tries to do a greedy switch. And then lastly, we have a special defensive Kilowattrel. The elite speed here is just amazing for its tier versus his team. Thunderbolt, Weather Ball, Eerie Impulse, and Roost. You might be thinking, what the heck is Eerie Impulse? We're able to lower his special attack by 2 stages by using Eerie Impulse. This really benefits me versus Volcanion, and then even Enamorus, if it's not contrary, it's very likely it's going to be set up versus me this week. So Eerie Impulse just goes a long way versus those 2 Pokemon, which in my opinion are the biggest threats to my team. And Weather Ball in the Sun will let me hit Iron Treads, so realistically there is no good switch into this Pokemon.
Now for the moment of truth, let's see what the opponent actually brought. I feel pretty confident that Ben's going to be spot on here. A lot of Pokemon on the opponent's team that I wouldn't expect to see, but Sneaky Venomoth? No Sneaky Venomoth. No, it is exactly the 6 I expected to see. That is the 6 scariest Pokemon on the team right there. And you know what? Sometimes in Draft League, it's nice to go against a team like this that's a little top heavy, where you can more often than not accurately predict those 6. It doesn't make the team less scarier, but ideally your sets will actually be a little bit more useful. We don't see Weavile though, which was the fastest Pokemon on our opponent's team, so there shouldn't be a Pokemon that outspeeds Roaring Moon, which is really, really nice considering Roaring Moon is... It's our best Pokemon by a mile.
We've got a lot riding on Roaring Moon in this one, especially when you don't have Bubby there to come in and save the day. like you said, I do think there is a bit of an advantage not being a team where somebody can look at you, John. And in most matchups, I don't think that you can for sure predict what 6 we're going to bring. We're not very top heavy. Like we've talked about this before, our top 6 picks are almost never going to be the 6 Mons that are chosen. You're going to see 2 or 3 of those support Pokemon chosen every week. And I'm excited for the debut of Sandaconda. I want to see what this pick brings to the table. Can he be that Bubby from last week and be a big difference maker?
Now, I'm pretty sure from everything we've heard, Glamoura's going to be the lead, and one of the big reasons I haven't said too much looking at the team, it's pretty straightforward. I just want to get into the matchup. I'm terrified of so many things on the other side, and this is really where our coach can step up. I'd be terrified. I've seen Cresselia. That's already something I did not want to see in general. And this is not a great matchup for us, but...
No hesitation.
He did say he wanted to Toxic the Cresselia, and that's happening turn 1. Now that is best case scenario, Tyler. Light screen, I mean, that's helpful, sure. I don't think... the Donphans over there are going to sweep us in the amount of turns those are going to be up. I think we have enough to handle the beginning of the battle successfully, and now Cresselia's on a timer. We have Assault Vest, Hisui, and Samurott coming in, and this thing has been pretty helpful for us so far.
That move makes much more sense because the light screen really didn't do much against us. We're a far more physically attacking team, but I still think you take both of those up to have the Toxic already on the Cresselia.
What I don't understand is the turn 1, turn 2 screens makes me feel like they're trying to absolutely demolish our team early on. Bring something in to set up and try to end us right away. They do not want us to put up much of a fight, but I don't know. I mean,
well,
what
John,
wants to switch in here?
We haven't talked about it much so far this year, but there's incentive in the league to win and win big, and you can take advantage of that on the other side by playing it safer and not trying to pull that off.
Yeah, and it's always daunting that opponents might be trying to 6-0 us, but with this immediate switch into Palmont, I mean, we're going to go into Sandaconda, of course, and I'm just really curious of what our opponent is planning, because they're planning something big. But so far, it's kind of going perfect for us. There's a Toxic on Cresselia. It's on a timer. We're able to bring in the Crocodile.
Oh, that did a lot.
Oh, geez. Oh.
John, I'm no expert.
Oh.
Does that damage means that it's probably choice banded?
That is definitely choice band damage.
Something?
Maybe. I've never gone against this Pokemon in my life, but I mean, I can check again. I can look at the stats. It's got like what, 115 attack? Yeah, 115.
It's pretty strong, but I don't think it's usually that strong.
No, I don't love this start. It does not fill me with the confidence.
Well, I guess we'll find out this move if it is in fact choice banded.
We don't really have a switch in here. Now, we could bring in the bird, but that really, I mean, I don't know what you do afterwards. Wow, I'm kind of dumbfounded. That was bad, Tyler. I'm going to say it. I'm going to go out on a limb. That was bad.
I don't think that was the big thing that they were setting up. It was most certainly bad. I almost feel like maybe a sack here, John. And
you have
if
to.
nothing else, you're continuing to wind down the timer on those screens, if there's any benefit.
No, that is the only play here, and that's why I didn't have too much to say when the most obvious option is to sacrifice your switch in to this and a few other Pokemon. Turn 4, turn 5, that's really, really unfortunate. Now,
I do feel like they are. I mean, Palmont's fast. That's the big perk here. So it's going to be able to get damage off on anyone. I'm going with my prediction here that it's banded and it's going to have to use close combat again. I don't know if you come in and get the sun up. If anything lives a hit, they know that Palmont is going to faint because it's not going to be able to live anything with the stat drops at this point.
Yep.
I think Torkoal is probably the play here.
That was a really, really good call out, Tyler. I appreciate you reminding me. The stat drops do give us some good hope here. Torkoal will live any hit very easily, and there's no way this thing stays in. On the off chance it does stay in, Earth Power would possibly obliterate this thing. I think screens are still up, so it'll be interesting, but the question now is really, let me reframe. I don't care about this turn. I'm really curious of how we get ourselves back into this battle. This was a really powerful first punch from the opponents. They have a lot of other threats on the other side. How do we bring us into the Pokemon? Ooh, that can turn the tide, but okay. Wow, that is frustrating. Earth Power was the super obvious play. Tried to make a prediction, and then, I don't know if that was a big brain on the opponent or what happened there, but it is not ideal for us.
Well, and the other side of it too is there's extra incentive. You talked about Revival Blessing.
Yep.
So you're going to want to keep Palmont up. You know 100% there's going to be some switch there, so I can't fault Ben too much. Just I think a good prediction on the opponent's side.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the issue right now. Ben is absolutely on the back foot. We've already lost a Pokemon. And while I know Kilowattrel was made to take on Volcanion, or at least attempt to, it's a little scary to see the position we're in. Now we have a water type Volcanion on that side. This might pack a punch. Tyler, it packed a punch.
It packed quite the punch, but if nothing else, not as big of a punch as I expected. Kilowattrel is not the most bulky, but we did notice, John, and we were kind of curious, it was a very specially defensive Kilowattrel build for this battle.
Yep.
And there you see why.
This is a tough battle to commentate. So far in these, I feel like I've had a footing, but just like our coach, I really feel like I'm on the back foot. You know, we got the Toxic, we got the spikes up, and since then, it really has been downhill. The battle's not even close to being over, but
No.
I just want to see us break through, gain a little bit of momentum. And this is a really interesting 1v1. Iron Treads versus Hisuian Samurott. I feel pretty good about this matchup. I don't know if Iron Treads would carry something super effective against us. I don't think so. Maybe it gets some fighting coverage I'm not expecting. Maybe it does get Wild Charge, I guess, which could be pretty powerful. I do like staying on the aggressive. You can't just keep switching. We're in a bad spot. You need to get damage off on this thing. Okay. Boy.
If nothing else, I've been right a couple of times this battle, and that makes me feel even worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like things are good if I'm right.
No,
Good
they're
news,
not.
though.
They're not
Reflect on.
great. And that is the most important thing to really jump in here, Tyler. You know, to start off a battle with Light Screen and Reflect is so unbelievably bold.
Yeah.
And we were right. They're trying to end that battle quickly. You had to stay in there to keep a little bit of pressure on. You can't just keep switching and getting into a worse and worse position. With the screens gone, we have a moment to take a little bit of momentum back. And if this play is misplayed to get that Cresselia in for free, we are in a very, very bad spot. This is a super important play. He may be predicting the Cresselia to go with that Ceaseless Edge. It may be a play he has to make. It's a terrifying one. That's the correct play from the opponent, but I also think this is the correct play from Ben. I don't know if he had anything else he could do there. You cannot let those screens get up again for free. That'd probably be the end of the battle. And right now, I mean, it's not the end, but it is not looking great.
Good news, though. Sun just ended.
Yeah.
Sun is back. I think maybe here, this could be a chance to flip the momentum just a little bit. I figured Jan would be the play.
Oh, if they go
he
into
goes
Cresselia,
this could be huge. Oh.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, Tyler. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. I've been in a lot of battles like this. I'm pretty sure I think I lost more battles than I won against the Borussia Donphan, to be very fair to our opponent. It's a really, really deflating spot here. But if I've learned anything in Draft League and Pokemon in general, the best coaches keep their head on target in these moments. They do not let it waver. They do not get discouraged. They do not let their focus wane from the win condition, from how they get to the end. We have a Pokemon that can sweep most teams in the league. It has not touched the field. The game is not over. It is very terrifying where it's at, but we really are going to find out here what is our coach made of. I've been on this end of a battle before and crumbled. I've been on this end of the battle before and had an incredible comeback. Honestly, probably did that more often than the first one. Hopefully, our coach is much better than me, and he never crumbles.
Let's see what the switch is. Oh, this could do some damage.
This is everything I've ever wanted to see. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right, let me button up the suit. I need to, something needs to change. Okay, things are getting exciting. Whoo! What are you gonna do now, Don fans? The droid fan is almost out of here. Okay. One thing we have not touched upon, 3 of the most offensive Pokemon on our opponent's team are getting hurt by the spikes every time they switch in. And that's a big reason you got to lose the droid fan here, as it's only going to take so many more spikes. Bye-bye. Hello, Revival Blessing. Oh, boy.
It's still, on the table. We do, in theory, and I assume that our opponent is going to try to play into this, have to defeat an extra Pokemon this battle with Revival Blessing being in the back pocket. But regardless, John, let's keep positive.
Hey,
keep positive. That was
the
a
suit's
big
buttoned up
swing
still.
there.
I'll button the second one. It's, you know what? That's how I'll stay positive, okay? This is just... All right. I'm keeping my composure. As our coach keeps his, I will keep mine. This is very important. I'm very intrigued. What do you think comes in here? Squeaky Moon. Okay, never mind.
Salamence. I figured it was time.
Yes. Now, this is interesting. We do have Eerie Impulse here. I don't know if that's the play, but I mean, it's on there for a reason to make it a little bit easier to possibly revenge this. But, Tyler, Squeaky Moon did not show Intimidate, did it?
No, it did.
It did?
Yes.
Oh, that's big. Instead of Moxie, that would be pretty huge. Okay, Defensive Salamence is a lot less scary than Moxie Mence. Okay. All right. Hand up. I'm a little bit of a dumb guy today. That's fine. Well, that's why there's 2 of us, Tyler. That's why there's 2 of us.
Now, if the instant replay shows I'm wrong, don't show the instant replay.
Okay. Draco Meteor. That's a lot of damage.
It's a bit.
Interesting. I'm really trying to think.
It does make me lean away because I was very scared there on the Switch, John, of a Dragon Dance. So I know that the Draco did a ton. I personally am happy that it did not get a chance to set up a free Dragon Dance.
No, it's probably best case scenario with what happened, but I do think the Kilowattrel switch in is probably the best play, which means the stay in was probably the best play, and it's just difficult. So many plays in this battle have not gone our way, and just that footing, it keeps eluding us just to get a foothold in this battle to really sway the momentum. We do have a kill, but me and you, we're terrified of that Revival Blessing. The fact that that's even a move is, come on.
This is a huge turn, though.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. That's a big prediction. Draco Meteor, special attack down, mixed Salamence, Tyler. I don't think he's staying in. He can't
have
stay
anything
in.
to do there.
No, not at all. An MDC, interesting, because we have Eerie Impulse.
I think you could stay in an Eerie Impulse,
or take advantage
this
and set
could be
up.
the time to go to Roaring Moon.
Okay, I like this. Going on the aggressive. We already know 2 of the Cresselia's moves. Okay. Lunar Dance! Bye-bye, screens! Bye-bye, Cresselia! Hello? Hello? Who? Is it the Salamence here? Is it the Palmot? What was looking low that they want to bring back from the near dead? Oh, okay. So that was a really, really interesting play, because I'm pretty sure at that point it's just get rid of Cresselia, bring in Mrs. Man for free. Now, Tyler, I haven't told you about this, but I have faced a Pokemon named Mr. Man many times. The Borussia Donphan would always get, I think it was Landorus I, call it Mr. Man, and it would ruin everybody's happiness. So
well, play more. We are pro happiness. Let's make one thing clear.
Yeah, this is really upsetting to see. It's setting up. I cannot sit here and watch another one of these genie mans beat up my hopes and dreams. Not today, Tyler. Not in the past. Not in the future. It's got to end right here, Ben. Come on, buddy. Pull through for me. Pull through. Oh. Okay, bold. It's the double setup. That's something that Ben did talk about.
Yes. But we
Sludge
should still
wave.
hit for a lot here.
Well, this is going to do a lot of damage. Oh! Wow.
Huge.
Wow. Let's go. Let's go. Get out of here, Mrs. Man. Get out of here.
Skill issue.
If you're going to play this cursed game that's competitive Pokemon, you just have to be ready for it. Wait a minute. Do I not remember how did Lunar Dance change, or am I a dummy? Wait.
I'm not going to call you a dummy.
Wait, but it just got healed. I'm so confused. What did I miss? Well, it doesn't matter, Tyler. I feel like you missed it. I missed it. It's Revival Blessing anyways. But the Droid Fan is back. And we get the Earth Power off. Oh my God, what a turn. Wow. Tyler. The turntables?
That is not the revive I expected there.
No, not in the slightest.
Iron Treads caused us minimal issues.
And then Droid Fan is back.
And with only half health, I'm not too worried about this.
No, I'm really confused as we still have Kilowattrel, yes?
Yes.
Huh. This was an incredible turn of events. I mean, that Sludge Wave Toxic was unbelievably helpful, but just staying in Earth Power and getting rid of the Palmot, I feel really, really good about this. Get up the sun. I love this. And then we do bring in the Kilowattrel after this thing goes down, or predict the Earthquake, bring in the Kilowattrel, take it out with the Weather Ball. I really, really like this. Droidfin going for Earthquake. I don't think it's going to set up or anything. We live that. We go straight into Kilowattrel. Bing, bang, boom.
And to go back quickly, John, while we have a second, to clarify on the Lunar Dance, they did change it to where if you send in a Pokemon with full health, then the effect of Lunar Dance does not activate until a different Pokemon comes in that it can activate off.
So happy I am not going against Cresselia in Draft League. I hated it a lot back then. I hate it more now. But what I don't hate is this swing. We have the opponent on the back foot. Knockoff probably predicting the switch into the Kilowattrel. Ben made the really good play there just to stay in Lava Plume. And I really like that because, I mean, at this point, do we really need Torkoal? Not really.
No.
And it could live a hit, most likely, kill it with Lava Plume. I don't see much of a risk there. I guess the biggest risk was probably going to be this thing being brought in. But even then, it's not going to set up. It's just going to make me unhappy. But look at this, Tyler.
Big time.
Whew. This is really where things go our way. Oh my!
Oh!
Wow!
This is where things really go our way.
Wow. We do have Lumberry on the Roaring Moon, so even if that connected, it would have been able to get rid of the burn. But that is absolutely massive. It's really impressive. There's a lot of other coaches that would have wilted in that moment. But somehow we are here, poised to reverse sweep, possibly. as we have the Lumberry. And Tyler, we also have Terra Fire. I've been told so many times from the coaching staff, it's so we can avoid the burns. Will the opponent predict the Terra as we Terra to avoid the burn and earthquake? Or is Ben going to predict them to predict that and then not Terra, go for the earthquake, go for another Dragon Dance? There's a lot of questions here. No, it's the Terra and the predicted switch. Wow. Wow.
He's on another level.
Wow. Wow. It is Intimidate.
It does hurt a bit, but this is still going to do big damage.
It's also a feather in your cap. You were paying more attention than me.
Oh, yeah. So earlier, yeah, we could 100% show that replay. We could show that one again if we wanted to.
Okay. How much could this possibly do? I can't imagine too much. Hopefully I'm wrong. Ooh, that's some really good damage. The sun is gone. This, okay. I'm letting him cook, Tyler. I'm letting him cook.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to keep letting him cook.
We're still letting him cook.
I'm very confused. Very confused. I think here's the shift. We just need to get these Pokemon into a spot where they can be cleaned up by our remaining Pokemon. It's a 4-2 advantage. You don't always have to clean up a game with Roaring Moon. So we just need to get this Pokemon in a spot where it can be revenge killed. That's really important. This could be a Salamence with Roost. That would not shock me. Oh, the switch! That
Ben's reaction says everything there.
Okay. I think this is gonna be enough to two-shot this thing. I mean, oh, no. I was hopeful to do a little bit more and Earthquake could take it out.
I think this is starting to lean. You mentioned having the speed to come in and just clean things up. Kilowattrel does outspeed everything.
Yes, it does. And that's why he stayed in against the Salamence. And this is what I was saying earlier. You cannot let what happens in these battles throw you off your game plan. That switch, not expected. Doesn't change. Sacrifice Roaring Moon, as weird as that probably feels.
Right.
Bring in Kilowattrel. You outspeed. You're definitely going to be able to take this thing out here. I don't know if you can take out the Salamence, but ideally you can. Or you could bring in Magellan. I think Magellan might be able to outspeed at least Volcanion, but definitely not Salamence. So yeah, I'm
go ahead and clean up with Kilowattrel here. And the thing is, John, we talked about this after the draft. Kilowattrel, it's fast.
Yep.
And you don't think of it as much of an offensive threat, but 105 special attack is enough to clean things up when you outspeed.
When I was early into my draft league career, I spent a lot of time thinking about drafting strategies. And one of the things I was really adamant on is one of the most important things you have to get on every single draft league team is a very fast electric type. It has just been so reliable throughout my entire career. Me and Ben play decently similarly. I'm really, really glad that he did draft Kilowattrel because it's just so great at the end of the game to clean up. Sometimes a Pokemon battle just comes down to who has the faster Pokemon at the end. Obviously, a lot more had to happen before you get to that moment, but we outspeed here, and I don't think Squeaky Moon can one-shot us. We have a specially defensive Kilowattrel, which is seeming more and more genius as time goes on. Do we see an Eerie Impulse, or we just fire off that Thunderbolt here?
I think that is the only question. Do we go potentially safer with Eerie Impulse or trust the two-shot with Thunderbolt?
I think it comes down to Roost on the other side, but this should be an easy two-shot. It will
definitely
be an easy two-shot, and we do see Roost. There is no world where our opponent expects Eerie Impulse. We could also just Thunderbolt until the cows come home. I don't think I've ever seen Eerie Impulse in a draft league battle, and hey, maybe I'm just not seeing cool enough builds, but that is beyond exciting. I've also never seen specially defensive Kilowattrel, and it's early into me seeing Kilowattrel at all, but Tyler, this might be my favorite set of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I love Bubby. We all love Bubby. Let's make one thing clear. But we were both high on Kilowattrel after the draft and the different things that it could do and the different roles that it could play. And I think you specifically said that it was going to play a key role in some battles.
Yeah.
Check that one off just 3 weeks into the season.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of chatter of people being down on this pick, but just being able to bring this Pokemon in, I mean, it took out Iron Treads, if I'm correct, with a Weather Ball, or at least threatened it. I mean, oh, that's salt in the wound.
That's mean.
That's so mean. It didn't. Oh no. Oh boy, it didn't even matter. But
Boy, we got a little lucky. Good game for Stellaris. Definitely could have been way different this game. I feel a little bit bad about some of those turns, but glad to see some of the prep paid off. Never been more scared of a Palmot in my life.
I have a lot of thoughts after this battle, but honestly, it really just comes down to some pretty deep pride for the Playmore organization, especially our coach, Ben. This was one of the hardest battles I've ever tried to commentate. I did not see the opening. I didn't give up, but I did not see where this battle could be going, at least in our favor. Obviously, that poison helped us a lot, but once there was a crack in the door, I mean, he just blew the door wide open, and we're sitting here with a pretty impressive win 3 weeks into the season. I think that's enough from us, though. I think it's time to throw it over to the head coach.
Another week, another win for Playmore and our esteemed head coach, the Beneral. Ben, this was a battle for a long time. It felt like me and John really didn't know what to say as we were watching because things just went from bad to worse and then worser and then worsest. But at some point, everything just got flipped on its head. So we'll start there. In your mind, what was the turning point in this battle that allowed you to get back into it and ultimately pull out what felt like an incredible win?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to deny the fact that I was starting off the battle quickly behind his choice band, Palmont. That thing was a threat. I think the quickest turning around point was when he was finally able to give up the Cresselia, because screens was such a big problem for me. And then it kind of proceeded to like snowball from there after the, poison on the Enamorus when it tried setting up on me, to the revival blessing with Palmont losing, in my opinion, his biggest threat, and I see it as a misplay. It's where following the Cresselia, it just kind of went downhill for him from there. And I just feel like I was able to collect myself. I noticed, okay, Roaring Moon ideally was going to be the win con, but now Kilowattrel kind of just walls the rest of his team because he's a special Salamence. So as soon as I was able to get rid of those annoying screens and deal with the setup threat that was Enamorus, I was feeling 100% better. And I just had to play carefully from there on out and make sure I had my win con set in mind.
I've talked about it many times before. Obviously, you believe me, and also have talked about it. Fast electric types are incredible in the format. You were scared of his. You thought that could destroy your team. Thankfully, it had no desire to win this battle. It wanted to be out of there and bring something else back. But Kilowattrel, especially defensive Kilowattrel. 2 questions here. First, what do you say to everyone who doubted that pick? And then second, what was the inspiration with especially defensive Kilowattrel?
First things first, anyone that doubted Kilowattrel has never used it. It might not have the most beautiful stats when you look at it straight on, but just the elite speed is huge, like you were mentioning. And it's a Zapdos at home, and we appreciate that here. The coverage in Weather Ball is just so good with their son too, but I wanted to draft Kilowattrel purely because I wanted to try it. And it's working out, so pat on the back to me. But in terms of the set this week with special defensive, it was mainly just being able to hopefully, deal with that Volcanion was the main thing. Because Terra Water Volcanion was a massive issue this week going into it. At first I was like, maybe I could be a bulky Roaring Moon or something like that. But then I remembered I watched one of our assistant coach's videos, John Jr., who used Kilowattrel previously, and he used Eerie Impulse. And I was like, that could actually be a great tech this week and really benefit me.
We're back home next week, Ben. That opening loss of the year was a home matchup, and there's more on the line at home than on the road this season. How do we make sure we can pick up the first home win in Playmore history going into not just one home match, but a string of matches at home coming up?
Yeah, since we're going back to the swamp, I'm just going to kindly approach our opponent and ask them not to bring Iron Valiant. In my opinion, that thing is #1 in draft format, so that is very tough for us to deal with. But apart from that, we're just going to cheese our way through the Iron Valiant and then, destroy the rest of his team with our MVPs, and then we're going to pick up the dub. So that's plain simple. But in the long run, I've had a lot of fun team building with it so far, and it's a difficult matchup, and we're facing the assistant coach of the Coilers, apologies. And it's going to be a difficult match for sure.
One to look forward to, that's for sure. I'm very excited for that matchup. So, Ben, we will see you very soon. Good luck. You don't need it. I can't wait to watch.